Guests of the weekend. Welcome as much as we do. Seattle, welcome. Jensen and Jared.
Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma, Washington State. How many of y'all are from Seattle? So y'all like Seattle-ites? Seattle-onians? Seattle people? So I have two sons that are Seattle people-ites, onions. What? Yeah. But maybe some of you don't know, but both my sons were born in Seattle. So. I love this city. It's alright, they got to Texas as quickly as they could. Winter hit, and they were like, we're going to Texas. Welcome, guys. Who's first time? How's it going so far? Concert fun? Yeah! Does anybody do anything that's embarrassing to themselves or anybody on stage? I hope so.
A lot of spanking.
I don't believe that. Sneaking.
Spanking.
Spanking.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Brianna and Rich, and then Brianna
Who was the spanky?
Rob.
Who was the spanker?
I think it was mutual. Yeah.
So it's like a double spanking.
Yeah.
It's like a double knockout. I'm sure that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
I think they liked it.
Hey, when did we start airing? Wednesday. Do you really?
Yes.
You don't know which one it is? Do you ever seen the ads? Oh, did you like the Internet Thinks You're Crazy video? Did y'all see that? People always ask, like, what is it behind the scenes? I was like, well, it's hard to describe. You know, sometimes we're playing around, sometimes we're like having fun, sometimes, you know, they'll come in and do a quick touch up. This was like all of the above inside of what, a minute, 30 seconds?
Well, it's not just what happens behind the scenes, it's what happens in front of the cameras. It's just what they cut out.
Yeah.
And so I guess there's just probably hours, days, months of footage of that kind of stuff, and they finally decided to start using it.
That's why the writers, who a lot of them we haven't yet met, will come up and be like, hey, and you're like, what's going on? Like, oh, sorry, I watch you horsing around for like 15 hours a day as I'm editing the episode.
It's more like this, the writer, be the writer. Coming up to me, be the writer.
Hey, whoa. It's been a long time. Oh yeah, we have done that. Often it is. Well, I'm stoked to get back to its collection. Without further ado, yes, that was a quick hand. Are you a Seattle-onian-ite? Okay.
From Atlanta.
No wonder, that's why she was so
Right?
quick.
This was the closest one to you, right?
All the locals were like, it's still morning. She was like,
I'm still on East Coast time.
Okay, so, Jared,
Yes.
you and Nisha did a live stream on Facebook the other day.
Yes.
And there was this big pile of sulfur.
Yes.
And what happened to that video?
Has anybody been to Vancouver? Has anybody sat kind of in either the downtown area or in the Stanley Park area and looked across the water and seen two giant mounds of yellow? So that's sulfur. Real sulfur.
Smells so good.
It smells so good. It smells like a demon. So we happened to be filming in the area, so we decided to go play in the sulfur. Not always all screws loose. So
Hey, rotten eggs, let's go play!
Yeah, suffice it to say, we played in the area, and then had like people running over. Like, you have to delete the videos because the client, I guess, which is the person who buys the sulfur, I don't know what kind of person that is necessarily, but I guess the people happen to be fans. So they're like, why are Sam Winchester and Castiel like playing around in my sulfur that I'm about to turn into a tiger? And so we had to like mix it ASAP. So it's probably somewhere. What happens to Facebook Live videos that get deleted? Are they still out there?
Yeah, it's never ever deleted.
Well, because we were like, it's one of these things where we were just goofing around. Like, we were like, hey, is it toxic? And the guy's like, well, I wouldn't lay around. And they'd be like, good enough. So we're playing, and it's this guy, it's a guy or girl who gave a tour, and then we were mortified. We were like, did we just get this guy fired because we're being idiots? We didn't ask him if we could touch it, we asked him if it was toxic. So we probably should have then followed up with like, can we touch it on camera in front of millions of people? Which I'm sure the answer would have been no.
When was this? Was this Thursday?
Yeah.
I was not there.
And then we had to go back to work doing something.
It wouldn't have happened if I was there.
Stuff.
Responsible.
Yeah, a little more surprised. But yeah, so I'm sure it's somewhere out there, but we're trying not to get the nice young person who gave us a tour fired. Your turn.
Yes. Hi.
So welcome back to Seattle. I am born from Texas, so just represent. So my question is for both of you, but the latest episode, the wrestling episode, which I absolutely love because I'm a wrestling fan. So I saw how Dean was so excited, and like, I can agree with that because that's how I get. And I saw like how he turned into a kid again. He was getting in the ring. And my question is actually for both of you. When you guys were growing up, what were you guys such big fans of that you were just like, oh my gosh, I love this so much? Like, what did you guys freak out over?
Wrestling was one of them. I still have like Ultimate Warrior and Undertaker toys. The Bash Brothers. I still got them. Hulk, who's now $115 million richer. I might leak a sex tape for him.
We're just streaming live on Facebook.
And the sulfur. It's sulfur is everything. But yeah, the wrestling was
Demon
fun.
sex.
Demon sex. Oh yeah.
You can marry
Done it, been
It's like it'd be like a muggle, right? Yeah. Harry Potter reference. That was one. I was always a fan of the Cowboys and Spurs. Pearl Jam at a later age. So yeah, I mean, I collected cards and stuff. That was a pretty Star Wars. Lynn knows a few other things that we'll wait for. Yeah.
I don't know. I was into I collected baseball cards, and so I was pretty into baseball as well. And I think I would have. I freak out every time I go into a baseball stadium. I don't know if you guys. That and monster trucks.
all right.
I don't know why. Something about a stadium. Going into a big stadium with a big event happening. Yeah.
That's why you always act so funny. We've been lucky to like get to some cities and like, hey, we're gonna be in Seattle. We should go see a game on Saturday. So we'll show up and everything's kind of like, you know, we're getting 2 tickets. As soon as Jensen gives the ticket, he's like. Music in his head. Yeah, go wrestling. I saw at the very end. Was your hand up? Because I saw it shoot up. All right.
So hand retract.
Daughter. Yeah.
So we came from Boston. It was a surprise for my daughter. It was
Oh, cool.
college break because she loves you. But I think you're boys because I'm a mom. So anyway, do you want to ask a question? Because before she asks a question, I just want to both let you know. I'm sorry, everyone. I know it's really corny, but I came here as I have to fly with my daughter to here, so she can't go home. So I'm just for the ride here. But I've noticed a lot of the people have been getting up in all of these panels saying, I'm struggling, you guys are great. And before I came here, my mindset was, oh, why those fans are so crazy? They're just people like us. But I just want to let you know, thank you, because after being here for 3 days, all of you, really do care for these people and show them a great deal of respect and support, and what you do not related to these super cons, whatever cons.
Thank you.
And it's really, really, I'm sure your moms are both really proud
Super
of you.
cons.
Everyone really appreciates you, and if I was your mom, I'm sure they're very proud of you.
You're the nicest
keep it up.
person from Boston I've ever met. Thank you.
I guess for a question, kind of more serious-ish, but how do you prepare for emotional scenes? Because you guys are amazing at that, and just wondering or if there's like a favorite emotional scene where you felt really proud of it.
I'll go first. So emotional scenes in the beginning, like as an actor, one of my least favorite things to read in any script is like Sam line, blah, blah, parentheses, he starts to cry, or they cry. Or a lot of times, unfortunately, it's like a member of the guest cast, they're telling a story about how the roommate was found and Bloody Mary was written on the walls, or whatever it is, and it's like, they cry. And I hate it, because you're like, sometimes it doesn't happen. We had a scene the other day where it's not written anything about tears, and when the scene played out, Dean Winchester was tearing up. Like, and it just happened. It wasn't written like that, right? And it's a great scene. It's episode 21. Prepare. But so it just kind of, at this point in time, we've spent so much time with these guys, Sam and Dean, that it's kind of easy to pop in and out of it. For those who have seen the internet things were crazy, like that, it's sort of like, actually, thanks for your time. Out the door. So I think emotional scene is just letting the character feel it. And I guess for me, I think the thing that came to mind, yes, there's something I was proud of, was probably the season 8 finale. It was a lot went into that. They had the scene with this dude.
Yeah, it's changed over the years. I think Jared will agree that seasons kind of 1 through 3 or 4, even 5, there was maybe a different process to kind of get those emotional scenes, to get to that emotion. But like you said, just this past week, there was a scene that was, it read, when first reading it read like a kind of a normal Dean Winchester reaction to what he was dealing with in that scene. Kind of angry and gruff, and then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, that's certainly the obvious choice, and we've seen that reaction from Dean hundreds of times. Maybe this is bigger than that. Maybe this is something different. And so I just kind of looked at it from a slightly different perspective. And it took on this whole different nuance that I wasn't even prepared for. And it just kind of came out. And so we did it once in a wide, and then they started talking about, okay, who's going to get their coverage first? And it was he and I and one other person in the scene. And so I asked Tom Wright, who's directing the episode, I was like, hey, listen, I don't know what just happened in the blocking, but something this just took an emotional turn in the scene. Would you mind if we did my coverage first? Because I don't know if that's gonna stick around. If I do it too many times, it might get stale. And I want to do it while fresh. That way, the other two actors can see what's happening. When they get their coverage, they can react accordingly. So there's a bit of a game plan there. So we did that, and it got emotional. And then what was crazy was, because the scene, and because I was looking at it that way, was so heavy, when they turned around and I was off camera, still just waterworks. And I'm like, all right. And I remember the other actor.
I was like, Jensen's like playing this up.
I remember the other actor, who we could probably say, but I'm not going to, was like, wow, that's the best off-camera acting I think I've ever worked. I was like, well, that wasn't intentional, trust me.
And there's a funny thing, I think he and I have both actually talked about it. De Niro once said that when human beings, there are times, and Dane Cook does a great bit about like when you're having a cry fest and you go to the mirror and you're like, I'm crying really hard, this is great, but for the most part, people hide their emotion, so it's almost the marriage of seeing emotion well up behind somebody's eyes, but seeing them fight it. Like, I find that much more interesting than somebody just going, so anyways, hope you like it.
Yeah, I find that when emotion kind of overtakes you, the more you fight against it, the more you can't hide it. Which is interesting when you've got a camera in your face, as opposed to going, oh, I should be emotional here, and it would be really impactful if I could drop some tears. It never works, and so I find never to, like he said, when you see it in the script and it's written, oh, Sam cries, that's like putting in an order for tears, and that's never gonna happen naturally. But if it happens naturally and it wasn't written, then I think
supernaturally.
So I think those are the magic moments, and that just, who knows when they are. They kind of surprise us too. So
welcome to the SuperCon.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. It's fun.
All right. How about the backwards hat? Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I love people, they raise their hand and they're like, yes, and then they get called in and they're like, me? I didn't have my hand, I was stretching. I wasn't.
Well, it's kind of that awkward moment where it's like, wait, really? Okay. So, anyway, first things first. Last year, there was a question where someone asked about where you wanted to visit in somewhere that I can't remember off the top of my head, and that woman who is taking a video right now shouted out at the top of her lungs, Bend, Oregon. I don't know if you remember that, which you probably don't.
I thought it was bend over.
Oh yeah, she was asking about Wyoming. So, no.
All honesty, if somebody yelled Bend, Oregon from the crowd, it probably sounded like Bend over. So,
So first off, I wanted to apologize for that. So my actual question is,
Bend, Oregon. Will you please bend Oregon in front of us?
No. So I noticed that they have vinyl up on set, which is like a very super cool thing that I love. If you could pick one of the vinyl, the records that are on set
Oh,
to
you
take
mean
home.
middle letters?
No. Vinyl is in like the.
Listen to my words!
No. Like music, like AC/DC, vinyl, CDs,
Yes.
records.
Like they're legitimately old records?
Yeah.
Where?
You're gonna drive me to the brink of insanity. I hope you realize
Been there and back several times.
I think you started on the brink of insanity. I might have just pushed you over.
Do you mean the music used in the show, or do you mean the physical records that are on set?
physical records that are on set, like in your room.
Thank you.
You think?
In the middle letters, that's what I said. No, in his room, in the middle letters.
Steal one of those. Which one would you steal?
Well, I'll ruin the image by saying that a lot of those are really bad records. Because they're not seen, so we just needed a stack of vinyls, so they just pulled them out of their lockup, and there's
some gems though.
there are some good ones, and they usually put those on top, so that if it does get seen, it looks like it would be a stack of Dean's records. But if you take the AC/DC one off the top, then it's like
Barry Manilow.
it's like the best of Burt Bacharach. You know?
There is one, the first one that came to my mind is there's like a Barry White's Greatest Hits, or like a live album, and it's hilarious because it would never fly these days with all like the publicity marketing people, because the picture on the front, it's a vinyl record, and I guess it's Barry White at a concert, and he's like dripping sweat and like a booger's hanging out of his nose. And you're like, who approved this picture? Like from the Greatest Hits? Because he's like,
picture.
that's like a not flattering. I mean, it just like he looks maybe like he's been put through the ringer. But I'd go with that just because that's an awesome picture.
Thank you.
I remember holding up one.
Kenny Loggins?
No.
Kenny Loggins?
No.
Kenny Loggins. Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I had that.
Which, by the way, do you guys remember that movie like back in the, what was it, the 90s?
Yes.
The Alvin and the Chipmunks? Right? Like we are the girls of rock and roll, we are the boys of rock. That's all.
Why didn't you choose girls
that's
first?
all my daughter is singing these days.
Sophie. Sorry. I don't think he's going. I'm going with the boomerang.
I didn't know if you guys were done talking.
No, yes we are. I just never seen, that was like a cat paw. It's just kind of like this. You know, you have like a little thing and the catcher goes flash of light, sonic boom.
Well, I am also a cat lady, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're part cat.
You weren't supposed to find out. I'm super nervous, but luckily this question is from my best friend. Her name is Maddie, she couldn't be here, and I told her I would do this, so.
That's pretty funny.
Thank you. You guys will see her later. That
Wait,
came out. No, I wish she was here.
So she's not here right now, but she is here.
Well, she is here. 'Cause
Yes.
yeah, but
I see.
not. It's here.
Figuring.
Hey,
You follow?
yes. We're ready.
You're not wrong. Okay, so from Maddie. Is there a moment that you can trace back on set, like your tracer bond, where you knew you were onto something special?
I'm sure your friend would be very happy to know how well she was represented.
She told me to do that.
However, we're gonna meet her friend. She's gonna be like,
I heard you had the question. She wants you to take the picture. Take her thing.
I'd love to.
Gollum meets
Sorry.
Yoda or something.
I didn't even catch the question.
I'll ask it like a normal person.
Is there a moment that happened that made us think that we were onto something?
Well, like, is there a specific moment, or can you trace your bond back to any, like, some point in time where you realized that this was something that would evolve to this point?
God, I mean, I don't think anything could have really prepared us for it to evolve like this. But I think I remember, I mean, early on, it was sort of like, where are you from? Texas. Where are you from? Texas. Cool. Who's your team? Cowboys. Who's your team? Cowboys. It's gonna be all right.
Are you talking about like him and I, or are you talking about all of this?
Either or, I mean.
Everything?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I remember. It's obviously been a collection of highlights over the past 11 years for not just his and I's kind of friendship and growth as two guys who can work together and get along as well as we do. I would say that one of the moments that kind of comes to mind was when he and I got into a bit of a riff, season 1. And in 11 years, that's really the only time that he and I have ever combated each other. And I remember we got together right after that because we were both pretty upset. And we kind of looked at each other and we were like, listen, that can't ever happen again. If we want this to succeed, that kind of stuff has got to get taken care of before it reaches that level. So let's just, make a pact, and it's never broken. And I think that was one of the that was kind of a turning moment for he and I, of like, okay, we gotta be together, work together, and do this as a team if it's gonna have any chance of success. And so I think early on we kind of found that we were better as a total, the sum of two of us, than we were separate.
And I think that happens in any relationship, whether it's friends or co-workers or boyfriend, girlfriend, spouses, any sort of relationship, it kind of gets tested, and that's when you find out whether or not it's worth it to you. If you're like, okay, that kind of sucks, let's move on. Like, this pissed me off. Okay, this pissed me off. Okay, instead of saying like, shove it, I'm gonna be like, all right, buddy, I'm sorry for my part. I'm sorry too. All right, let's get back to set. So, I remember that. Yeah.
And then as far as this goes, I think it's really been, it's been fueled by you guys. The fact that you show up. There's what is it? I forget what movie it was, but Harrison Ford goes, guys are easy. Women just have to show up.
Bend, Oregon.
That's right. And so I think that really kind of when we could see and feel the energy and the common denominator that is the love of the show and the storyline and these characters, and we could share that with you guys, and you guys can share it back with us, then that really got the ball rolling, and I think it's snowballed for the past 10 years, and it's been awesome for work. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. I'm gonna go way over here in the red shirt with the red band on your arm. Quick look behind you, it's you. There's not gonna be somebody else with a red shirt and a red band on their arm. Just you.
My first question is, does Jensen love pie in real life as much as Dean does?
Probably not as much as Dean does. But yes, I certainly enjoy a nice slice of pie.
And then my second question was...
Pie day there.
It was, yes. If you had to choose, which episode would be your favorite?
How dare you.
Well, I already know my answer, so...
What is your answer?
Mine would be Yellow Fever. Because my mom and I probably rewound it and watched it like 20 times in a row, and she literally has a notification sound on her phone of Dean screaming.
I recently saw, if you're here, and then I'm going to embarrass you, but I recently saw that image of me screaming tattooed on someone's leg. And I'm like, all right, well, there's that.
Because, you know, Dean's just one of those people you would never think to have, you know, be scared like that. So
I have the fever.
And at the end, your Eye of the Tiger little video was out.
This is
You nailed it very well.
What?
In the lake chart, that was good.
What season was French Mistake? Does anybody know? I would go with two. For lighthearted, I'd go with French Mistake because what other show can do that? And for heavy-hearted, I'd go with Death's Door just because I thought it was great television. I mean, we weren't such a big part of the show, so we were able to watch it and go like, what's the show? I should start watching this show. Like, this is good television. So I'd probably go with those two. Stick out. Yeah, it's hard to pick.
Yeah, I mean, I could right off the top of my head say, you know, half a dozen that I would certainly say could be my favorite. I'll pick one, Baby. Just because it was so different and unique, and it was a real challenge filming it. And I think with that kind of challenge comes great reward, and I feel like we got
Great failure.
Or great failure. So I feel like Tom did an amazing job directing. I feel like our guest cast did an awesome job. I felt like Har performed very well. I was a happy camper. It was cool.
Before I pass this off,
Yes.
I just want to say thank you for creating the Always Keep Fighting and You Are Not Alone. Actually, a semi-colon tattoo behind my ear as kind of a reminder, so I really want to say thank you for doing that.
Thank you. All right, Uke. Mr. Uke.
Is it a Uke?
Yeah. Can I play?
Either of you.
Yeah. Is it in two?
Yes.
All right. Well,
It's always in two.
I'm not here.
You lied to them.
Give the people what they want.
I have my other one if you want to play that one instead.
I just remember that.
Sing it.
I don't really remember a lot of.
Capo, it's like the guitar. Capo at the 5th fret with 4 high strings. So a D chord would be a G.
Well, because there's right. If you were to give me like some chords and like a tab, I could play that. Like I do remember learning the Big Iz's song.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and I learned that and played that for JJ, but that was like a year ago. So I'd have to look at it again. But yeah, here, I'll give it to that.
Good try.
Good try, man.
Yeah. I got the G down. That was
No, awesome. Well done.
I will say that I have a very special uke at home from somebody who's very popular in this city, Mr. Eddie Vedder, who, as some of you know, actually released an entire album of ukulele songs called the Ukulele Songs, and he signed the uke to JJ, to my daughter, and so I learned to play on that for her, and that was pretty special. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I love that stuff.
We're getting dragged out of here, guys.
All right, do we have one more, or are we out of here? All right. How about right there, since right next to the microphone? Yes. Oh yeah, sure. We'll go there. We'll go there.
I
I just wanted to know if you guys did a bracket, and if you did, who's your final four and who do you have winning?
God, I mean, I did not do a bracket this year.
I did not.
I get a little
epic failure.
Yeah, I get a little too into it. I love March Madness. I've always loved March Madness. But my problem is I can't half-ass it. I can't just like fill it out. So it would take hours of my life. And my wife would be like, the children haven't eaten in days.
Yes, we don't need any more reason to watch college basketball than just for, enjoying college basketball. If we actually had money and brackets and stuff like that, we'd forget about work. We wouldn't be here with you. We'd be buried with like 9 televisions in some bar.
I'm super bummed that Northern Iowa beat Texas. So that's for one. But anyways.
Anyway, well guys, thank you very much.